Good gosh, let me tell you, you do not want to get caught red-handed with buried treasure that belongs to the Headless Horseman, the Hessian Trooper of Sleepy Hollow. However, I made it in one piece, and I acquired the object of my desire. That's right, folks, inside of this box is Haunted Hallow, the brand new fragrance by Yankee Candle for Halloween 2017. At least for me, the most anticipated fragrance probably ever. I've been waiting so long and I finally got my hands on it. So you're probably saying, why are you wasting time? Let's open this up and let's talk about it. Well, before we do that, I would like to share with you other tidbits. A lot of updates since my last Halloween video, accessories, some fragrances. So let's put this to the side and let's talk about Yankee Candle 2017 Halloween. If you remember, I showed you photos of the medium-sized house warmer jars that came in Witch's Brew and Forbidden Apple. Of course, Witch's Brew is a classic. It's been around for years. Forbidden Apple made its return last year. If you remember that photograph, it had the old font right there. And I wasn't 100% convinced that this was also going to be the look in the United States. But since then, I have found not only the Witch's Brew, but also the Forbidden Apple with the new font of Yankee Candle. So yes, this will be available here in the United States. Transparent glass. You have a decal that runs all of the way around the circumference of the candle. And remember that jack-o'-lantern and that raven. And what's really, really different is this lid. You see this jack-o'-lantern, black aluminum lid with the rubber rim. I mean, everything's, you know, it's the same kind of concept as one of these. Right? Let's take a quick look at the Witch's Brew. It's virtually the same thing, folks, only black wax, of course, the Witch's Brew fragrance inside. So Witch's Brew and Forbidden Apple are also going to be available in tumblers with the Haunted Hallow, a trio set that look very similar to this 2015 Black Magic. What about candy corn? We know that that's gone. Candy corn is retired, but the saving grace to candy corn disappearing is that there was always trick or treat. Trick or treat looks like that, and it's looked like this, very much like Witch's Brew. It always had a different label every year, and I collected it every year. But you see, it's a swirl candle. Candy corn and Yankee Candle's buttercream. The thing is with swirl candles, these are hand poured. And I've also been told that swirl candles are no longer going to be made, which is a bummer because if that's true, not only do we lose candy corn, but that also means that we've lost trick or treat. With that said, there's a new candle that we should be expecting, and it's called Sweet Seduction. Almost had my hands on it, and it slipped between my fingers. It's certainly a candy corn themed fragrance, and on the front there we have this candy corn cocktail concept with sprinkled candy corns all around there. So is this a replacement for candy corn? Is it a replacement for trick or treat? Or is it something else? I wish I could tell you. I haven't smelled it. Look at that. This is a glass candle holder, like this guy right here. Remember I told you to remember that raven and jack-o'-lantern. There they are. And this one seems to be orange and gradually takes on a purple dark eggplant color to that crackled glass. Here is what it looks like when it's all lit up. Illumination. But if that new one is not for you, we have several other options for you to choose from. Let's start with this one. Looking at it, it looks seemingly straightforward, but then If you take a really close look at those trees, those gray silhouetted trees, there's almost this 3D effect. But we are not done with the jar holders. There's more. And here they are. The larger one is for your standard 2-wick tumbler or 22-ounce house warmer jar. The smaller one is going to be for the medium size single wick tumblers, the trio. We have this jack-o'-lantern tart warmer, all lined with that same metallic color. So right here we see the Haunted Hollow tumbler topped with lattice work circular shade. And then next to that, 3 votive holders, medium size jar holder, also a lattice work design. This will be the 10th anniversary of the Boney Bunch. So good news, Boney Bunch is not going away, not being phased out, for any of you that may have been worried about that. So let's not kid ourselves. The reason why probably most of you are here is because of the brand new 2017 Halloween fragrance. And here it is. Now, it doesn't come in this box. I made this for this video here. So let's open it up. The question is, are you ready? You ready? All right, let's do it. I introduced to you Yankee Candle's brand new Halloween fragrance, Haunted Hollow, folks. First and foremost, let's get in really close to check out all of the details. Look at the face there, how you have those series of dots that make up the logo. We'll talk about that in just a second. And underneath, we have the title of the candle, Haunted Hollow. And let me warn you, if you're one of those folks like me who cannot stand fingerprints on anything you own, might drive you nuts a little bit. If you take a very close look, look at that D. You see that? So in the center of the font, it's hollow itself with some white etchings. So my guess here is that when the candle burns all the way down to the bottom and the flame has a chance to shine out, it will give some texture to the face of the jack-o'-lantern and texture to the title. You see those edges right there on the glass? So this is not screen printed. This is actually a label that fits on top of the glass. Although this might look jet black, that you can see through the glass, as dark as it is. The embossed aluminum lid, there is an inscription on the inside of the glass. Now on the back, there's nothing, but inside we see that word tonight, comma. And you know me, I could not wait to burn this candle down to find out what it says, so I was determined to figure out what it says, but you can actually see the texture of the letters inside. I can feel them. So with a close inspection, I quickly discovered that the phrase, the saying inside is actually a segment of a poem by John Kendrick Bangs. It reads, "Tonight, All Hallows Eve, specter struts along the moonlit way." John Kendrick Bangs. Very, very nicely done. Why? Because that adds more context to the candle. If you go in the description section of this video, you'll find the entirety of Bangs' poem. Read that. Make sure you soak that in, because again, that's a part of this candle's story. So what does this candle smell like? Well, I am going to share my thoughts, some of my notes, my initial impressions of this candle. First things first, when I had this candle, I unboxed it, I looked at it, I opened the lid, and I did one of these. And I quickly pulled it away from my nose, and I just looked up towards the ceiling, and I said in my head, wait until everybody has a chance to smell this. They're gonna love it. In my opinion, safe to say, Yankee Candle has never ever taken an approach like this when it comes to Halloween. When I smelled this candle, that Rolodex of images flashed through my mind. Hundreds, if not thousands of images of being in the forest, alone, dark, haunted, spooky, without a doubt the fall season. There's a coolness, there is a chilliness. For me, the dominant first note that comes through is that dried pine needle. Now look, I've used pine needle all of the time as a descriptor. It's used a lot of the times in candle descriptions, but never have I meant it more than I do now. This is the smell of, a massive blue spruce tree. You go underneath it for shelter, right? And you're standing on a bed of dried out, discolored, sun-dried, sharp little spruce needles underneath your feet. There's that concentrated smell of that carnivorous tree. So when you smell this, you're getting that strong, dead pine needles, that sweet terpene pine sap, whatever we want to call it, but it also has the effect of old antique wooden furniture. There is a cooling sensation. I say it all of the time. Let's just mention menthol for a second. Menthol triggers the skin cells, falsely making us believe that we're cold when in fact we're not. But that cooling sensation when you burn this candle, that smell of menthol and eucalyptus, it's gonna fill the room and make you believe that inside the warmth of your own house, it's actually a little chilly. Big tart citrus notes. It smells like a very intense lemon lime. And Yankee Candle's notes, they list blood orange and bergamot, which is not a surprise to me at all. Bergamot has that very perceived tart smell, like an underripe lemon or lime. There is that earthiness. This is not funky, earthy, not like topsoil, but it has this smell of like sod. It's actually a very pleasant smell when you walk into the nursery in springtime. Again, bringing us right outside. This is all about outdoor fragrances. So with the brightness, the tartness of that citrus, and the sweetness from that coniferous tree, I'm not kidding. When you smell this, you might get a little Sprite or 7-Up. You might think I'm kidding, you might think I'm bluffing, but wait until you get a smell of it and then see for yourself. It draws you in, it's spellbinding. Patchouli, but this is not witch's brew. But remember, patchouli is a part of the mint family, so it gives you this herbal, slightly minty, cooling sensation and woody notes. And almost like roots, like you pulled out some weeds and you got those roots covered in soil. So let me just stop right there and read Yankee Candle's notes. Blood orange, bergamot, cinnamon. Those are the top notes. Now the cinnamon, I'm telling you, I get it. I get that there's baking spice here by smelling it cold, but I'm gonna have to burn this and I'm gonna have to experiment with it, spend a lot of time with it. But on the nose cold, it's not something that jumps out too intensely, which is probably a good thing. Incense, pine needles, and clove. Incense. And I'm gonna have to save the majority of my evaluation of that fragrant note for my full evaluation of this candle, because that's a big statement. What do we mean by incense? Do we mean the aroma of whatever saturated in the incense? Are we talking about the biomass of the incense? Are we talking about the expired smell, the burnt biomass? Are we talking about the resins that we find in like churches, the classic myrrh and frankincense? Just by saying incense brings up a lot, but to demonstrate to you what I smell, it's something like this. So there is a little bit of smokiness in this candle, but not fire, not campfire, not firewood. It's gonna have the smell of smoke was once here. A very sweet, resinous smoke. Pine needles. I think I made my point about that. Patchouli, amber, and cedar. I will address all of those fragrance notes in my full evaluation of Haunted Hallow. And look, folks, if you have any questions about this candle, anything we spoke about today, or anything we didn't speak about today that I didn't address, please leave a comment down below. I respond to every single comment on all of my videos, and it sometimes takes me a few days, up to a week to get to them, but I do respond. That's it for now. More summer content coming our way, but also more autumn content, and Halloween really is right around the corner. And I'll be seeing you folks real soon, but until then, be good.
So I hope we didn't scare you too much today, folks. It was our pleasure to host you. Please remember to hit like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video with all of your deepest, darkest foes. Your enemies, so to speak. No, but really, if you could share this video and subscribe and spread the word, it really helps us out at the end of the day. We really appreciate it. Happy hauntings!